Hello Laziali all over the world, welcome to another episode of Lazio Lounge. Yes, Lazio didn't play this weekend in Serie A, but we played, we went on the pitch, I would say, on Friday for the Supercoppa Italiana, the semi-final against Inter. But we're not going to talk only about that. There are a lot of other news I want to discuss with you in this podcast, so please listen till the end. I think it will be very interesting. Before we start, a huge thanks to all our Patreon. We couldn't do it without your help, your huge supports, and membership starts at just $2 a month. So it's not impossible, but we really appreciate your help. We couldn't do it without you. So thanks again to all our Patreon. So I guess we have to start with Inter Lazio, the semi-final of the Supercoppa Italiana. Obviously, Lazio wasn't the favorite for this game. Maurizio Sarri in the press conference before the game said we have 30% of chances to pass. But what made me really angry was the performance. I would say that Lazio didn't even try to win the game. Yes, we lost Zaccagni before the game. Zaccagni was in the starting 11, but he couldn't make it. We know, and we're going to talk about this injury going forward in this podcast. Pedro started, and again, not a great performance from Pedro. And unfortunately, this is not the first game Pedro played badly. In the derby, he has been sent off. In the Coppa Italia derby, he has been sent off, and he was really disappointing because from an experienced player like Pedro, you should expect much more. Both in the semi-final of Coppa Italia and in the game against Inter, Pedro made a silly mistake because the penalty Inter got was, I wouldn't say a soft penalty. Pedro is really silly. Lautaro Martinez wasn't going anywhere. You should stay there, don't do nothing, and watch and see what Lautaro does. He got his back to the goal, so he cannot do pretty much nothing. So Pedro was very silly and not smart enough in that occasion. But we have to be honest, the first half was dramatic. Inter scored, hit the crossbar at least twice, had another couple of good chances. To be honest with you, the first half could have easily finished 3-0. Lazio didn't do pretty much nothing at all. And you expect, after a bad start, that in the second half Lazio would come in and, try anything to score, try to play football at least. Instead, in the first 10-15 minutes, it was again only Inter. Inter scored the second goal, and after that we saw 10 minutes, not more, of Lazio finally trying to do something. But after that 10 minutes, again, it was only Inter. Now, Inter is the best team. It's obvious. Everybody knows that. The roster Inter has is much better than Lazio. But still, you have to play the game. You have to try at least. You lost 3-0 without trying. I guess if you try to win the game, it couldn't go worse than that, honestly. You lost 3-0 without any shot on target. It was really disappointed. Sarri wasn't happy, but I guess any Lazio fan wasn't happy. And I understand. Inter is a much better team. You could expect to lose that game, but I want my team to try. I want my team to at least try to play the game. Play the game. Try to create chances. Nothing at all. Really disappointing. Felipe Anderson did a little bit. Ciro Immobile didn't have a single chance. Pedro, I already mentioned him. Luis Alberto, when he came in, he did something at the beginning, but then completely disappeared. So very disappointed because I thought Lazio players didn't think they had a chance. And if you're playing with the Lazio shirt, you should try every single game. It doesn't care. I don't care if you're playing against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, or Inter. You have to play to win the game if you're playing for Lazio. And then what happens. I mean, you can lose. You lost against Inter without playing. So, at least if you try, I'm happy that you tried and I accept the defeat. Like this, it's really annoying because you have to give it up. You have to play. And obviously, a lot of Lazio fans told me, hey, we lost 3-0 against Inter without trying. What's going to happen against Bayern Munich in the Champions League? That's a valid question. I mean, if you don't try against Inter, what you're going to do against Bayern, that probably a better team than Inter? I don't want to think about it. I hope that Lazio learned the lesson and that next time against a big team, they're going to play. Now, next Sunday, there is Lazio-Napoli. That's going to be a good test, a very important test for Lazio to see if the team have learned the lessons. Now, talking about Lazio-Napoli, let's not forget that Lazio will play against Mazzari's team without Ciro Immobile and Mattia Zaccagni. They are both disqualified. They won't be able to play. We have a lot of question marks because, well, Zaccagni is out because he's suspended. He didn't play against Inter, and there are rumors that he could be out 2 weeks. So he could be back for Atalanta-Lazio, that I think it's the next game after Lazio-Napoli. But it's not only Zaccagni the problem. Tati Castellanos is injured. He was called for the Supercoppa but wasn't on the bench. Now rumors are that he could be back tomorrow. Lazio's not training today, Monday. They're going to be back on Tuesday. So let's hope to see Castellano back, because without Ciro and without Zaccagni, we don't have that many options there. If Castellano is back, we're probably going to play Castellano, Isaksen and Felipe Anderson, I hope, because this Pedro cannot start in a big game. But if Castellano is injured, we don't have option. It's going to be Felipe Anderson as number 9, Isaksen and Pedro. And this concerns me a lot. Not because Isaksen, but because of the last performance of Pedro. Not encouraging, I would say. But we have to see who's back. There's even question marks about Patrick. Patrick was on the bench on Friday. He injured his shoulder in the last game at home against Lecce. He was subbed, Romagnoli came in. Now, Patrick should be able to recover in time for Napoli. It would be really important to have some rotation there. Even though Gila was probably one of the only player who tried against Inter. I thought he had a good game. Probably one of the few who had a decent game against Inter. And, I think Gila took his chances. If you remember, before Salernitana-Lazio, Gila didn't play a second. And after the injury of Romagnoli, he started against Salernitana. He played decent. And after that, he played a lot of games and he proved to be worthy. He proved to be a player who can play for this team. And we saw against Inter, a player who is not scared to play against big team. So, very negative against Inter, but I think that Gila is one of the few players who proved that he's not scared to play against big teams. So this is important. But it would be good to have Patrick back. The other situation is Rovella, who was injured before Inter Lazio. He played against Inter. Not a great match from Rovella, to be honest. He was subbed in the second half. But he should be able to play against Napoli on Sunday. Napoli is going to play tonight, if you're listening to this podcast on Monday, against Inter in the final of the Supercoppa Italiana. So they will have 3 days less to prepare this game compared to Lazio. So this should be an advantage for us. But the transfer market window is open, so we have to talk about a lot of rumors, a lot of players linked to Lazio. The first player I want to talk about is Rafa Silva. The trequartista of Benfica has been heavily linked with Lazio. His contract is expiring in June, so Lazio is thinking of signing the player at this summer when he's going to be free. But as Pedro is not playing as expected, Felipe Anderson is not playing very well, Sarri have asked Lotito to sign a winger already in January. So Lazio tried to contact Benfica. Benfica is asking 10 million euros for the player. I think it's a little bit too much, because in 6 months' time the player will be free to sign with whatever team he wants to for free. So 10 million euros for a 30-year-old player, it's a little bit too much. Now about Rafa Silva, he's playing great. I don't know if you saw him playing with Benfica. The question mark I have is that he's playing trequartista. There is no trequartista in the 4-3-3 of Maurizio Sarri. So he should be moving to left or right wing. That depends. He's playing really well as trequartista. Will he play well as a winger? That's the question mark I have. I'm not 100% convinced. Plus, Silva should be the replacement of Felipe Anderson. Felipe Anderson is turning 31. Rafa Silva is turning 31. I don't see the point in replacing a 31 years old with another 31 years old. I think Lazio should be going for a younger player, and probably a player who's already playing as a winger, not like Rafa Silva. Other players linked with Lazio, Ikone has been proposed to Lazio, the Fiorentina winger who fans don't really love him, especially after he's missed the penalty in the semi-final of the Supercoppa Italiana against Napoli. The player has been proposed to Lazio, offered to Lazio. Fiorentina want to give him on loan for 6 months. Ikone is definitely younger than Rafa Silva, but he hasn't been playing really well, to be honest. In the last 2 years with Fiorentina, he has been a failure. And to be honest, if you see his background, he never scored a lot of goals. So I don't like this player. Plus, Fiorentina want to give him on loan to Lazio with no chance of buying back or obligation to buying back. So it's pretty much he's staying with Lazio for 6 months, and then if things works, he go back to Fiorentina. Otherwise, Fiorentina will try to sell him. Don't think Ikone is the perfect player for Lazio. He's younger than Rafa Silva, definitely, but I don't think he has the talent, and I don't think he's good enough to play for Lazio. Another player who has been linked with Lazio is Anwar El Ghazi. He's 20 years old. He's a Dutch player, and I don't know if you know his story. He has been fired by Mainz, the German team, because he sent on social message pro-Palestine, and so that's why the German club fired him. His agent is trying to find another solution for the player. He's been offered to Lazio. Now, he could be an interesting player. Last year with PSV, he played really well. He scored a lot of goals. This year, he pretty much didn't have a chance because, if I'm not wrong, he's been fired after just 5 games this season. So that could be an interesting solution. Let's not forget he's free, so Lazio won't have to pay the player. He's available for free, so that's definitely encouraging. Now the dream for Lazio is Gudmundsson, the Genoa player. Now, obviously, Genoa is not selling the player this winter, but in summer there could be a chance, even though the asking price is very high. We're talking about 25 million euros. But again, if you want to improve this squad, and Lazio this summer will have the money of the Champions League, Lazio could have the money enough to sign Gudmundsson. I really love the player. I thought he showed huge talent, so I think he would be a huge upgrade for Lazio. Now, the plan Lazio has in mind is sign El Ghazi now in winter, and then this summer go and sign Gudmundsson for 25 million euros. That should be the fee. It's a lot, but I think it's worth it. Now, I don't know what you think about Gudmundsson. Write it in the comment below. Lazio could do this, sign El Ghazi in winter for free, and then Gudmundsson this summer, because let's not forget that Felipe Anderson haven't signed his new contract. I think he's leaving at the end of the season, and I don't think Lazio's keeping Pedro. I hope Lazio won't keep Pedro. Unfortunately, the Spanish player has shown that his form is not great. He's not good enough to play for Lazio. So I think Lazio will need to sign 2 wingers this summer or going forward. El Ghazi can be a replacement now, and Gudmundsson could be a great signing this winter. So let's hope this happens. I think it would be great for Lazio. So let's see if things go forward or not. Di Marzio said that Lazio this week will try to sign Candreva. Antonio Candreva, that is actually at the moment playing for Salernitana, could be a short-term solution for Lazio. Lazio tried to sign the player already in December, but Salernitana said he's not on sale. So let's see what happens this week when Lazio and Salernitana will talk again about the player. We know Candreva will be super happy to go back to Rome, but we have to see if Salernitana will allow this to happen. Candreva is honestly the best player they have. So I see this very hard to happen. But we know that player will try to push to go back to Rome. So let's see what happens. I'm not super happy about this eventual signing. Candreva is 37 years old, if I'm not wrong. So you're not getting a youngster. You're getting a player who, to be honest, is fit and is playing great football. But how long will Candreva be able to play great football? 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? Don't know. So I'm not convinced this is the right move Lazio should do. But I mean, I'm reporting all the news about Lazio transfer market. Talking about transfer market, there has been rumors about Kamada leaving in January. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think Lazio will allow Kamada to leave in January. We have to see what happened this summer. Obviously, the Japanese is not happy as Kamada has not played a lot recently, and obviously he's not happy. Against Inter, Vecino started and Luis Alberto came in the second half. Kamada didn't even warm up. I don't think this make the Japanese very happy. He already missed the Asian Cup, so I hope Kamada would have other chances because, to be honest with you, I don't think Luis Alberto is playing that great. You know, the last goal, when Luis Alberto scored his last goal, 21st of October. So we're talking about 3 months ago. So this is not good. I thought Luis Alberto performance in the last couple of months weren't great. So, you know, if I was Sarri, I would give Kamada another chance and see how things go. I think Kamada is a great player. He simply have to adapt a little bit more to Sarri ball, which didn't happen. But let's follow these rumors about Kamada. Other thing we have to talk about, Lazio has been linked even with some midfielders. Obviously, we talked about Kamada leaving. I think Lazio need to sign some other players. And Pedulla, the other transfer market expert, said that Lazio is following both Fazzini, that is Empoli midfielder, and Casadei, that is Chelsea midfielder. Well, he went to Leicester and now he came back from the loan. Casadei could be available already in January for a loan. Fazzini, Empoli doesn't want to sell him. Maybe this summer Fazzini could be on the market. As I said often, Lazio is a very old team. We have Luis Alberto that passed his 30, Ciro Immobile above 30, Felipe Anderson, Pedro, Marusic. We need to rejuvenate this club. So Fazzini and Casadei, that are very youngster midfielder, could be the right solution for Lazio. I really love Fazzini. He's playing really, really well with Empoli. Obviously, we're talking about Empoli, a team that's fighting for relegation. But I think Fazzini could be very useful for Lazio. Same thing about Casadei. Casadei is a player who has been playing all season at Leicester. Could be really interesting to see him coming to Lazio. Again, we have to see the solution Lazio will try for Casadei. Is he coming on loan or Lazio is trying to buy the player? I think the second is better because, or maybe you can loan with the option to buy the player after 1 year. But I think Lazio has to do something this summer in midfield. Vecino, who is really important for the club, he's 32. So you see, Vecino 32, Luis Alberto 31. You have to get player younger than this to have a future. But let's not forget that, talking about the future, Sunday there is Lazio-Napoli, a very important game for Lazio. Tati Castellanos didn't play, and let's hope he can be back because he's going to be really important as Ciro Immobile will be suspended. Now, Ciro Immobile played against Inter and he really didn't have any chance, to be honest with you, but it doesn't look like the Ciro we need. Obviously, he needs more assists, he needs to have more chances, but it looks like Ciro Immobile is really struggling against big team. It looks like when he play against good defense, Ciro Immobile is not able to create chances like he did before. Now, I hope it's just, lack of form. He just came back from an injury, but all season long, Ciro didn't play that well against big club. Now, we have to remember something. He's still the top scorer of Lazio. And even if he missed a lot of games, Ciro is still our number one for scoring goals. 7 goals this season. which is not that much, but he's still the best of our club. So let's hope Ciro comes back. But Tati Castellano, before the injury, played some good games. The goal against Frosinone was incredible. He made assists against Frosinone. He played decent against Roma for me, and he got the penalty. So Tati Castellano is a player we have to watch. I hope in this second part of the season he starts scoring a little bit more. But I think next summer we'll have to talk about Ciro Immobile and find the right solution for Ciro Immobile. Before we wrap it up, 2 words about Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, because as you know, Lazio played the Supercoppa Italiana in Saudi Arabia, and Milinkovic-Savic was there watching Lazio. And for the Messaggero, that it's a Rome newspaper, Milinkovic-Savic said to his former players that he missed Lazio, and he's not very happy here in Saudi Arabia, and so he was hoping to get back to Rome next summer. Now, I don't know if these rumors are true. I think it's very hard for Milinkovic-Savic to come back to Rome this summer. Maybe at the end of the 3-year contract he can come back to Rome and finish his career with Lazio, but I think this summer to sign back Milinkovic-Savic is going to be really hard. But said this, it would be amazing to have Sergej Milinkovic-Savic back. We saw in this first 6 months of the season that Lazio is missing a player like Sergej. He's been a key player for this club for years, 8 years. So I think Lazio's missing a type of player like Milinkovic-Savic, but I don't think he's coming back. I think we can wrap it up here. I try to talk about all the news about Lazio in the last couple of days or so. So if you like this podcast, please rate a review and write in the comments. And we're going to catch up next Monday after Lazio Napoli, and I hope Alistair will be back. So we're going to do the full podcast again. Thanks. Take care, guys.